Today is the 29th June 2016, the last day of our retreat. Today we will deal with Sabhava Lakhana and Samanya Lakhana. Specific characteristics and general characteristics of mental and physical phenomena. There are 5 essential qualities of a meditator, which are known as Pancha Indriya and Pali. The first essential qualities of a meditator is a saddha, strong and firm faith in the triple gems, especially in the technique of the Satipatthana meditation. If a meditator has a strong and firm faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, then he practices meditation, the teaching of the Buddha, very seriously and intensively, especially if a meditator has a strong, firm faith in the technique of meditation. He practices it intensively, interestingly. So saddha, strong and firm faith in the technique of meditation and the triple gems, is the basic requirement for a meditator to make progress in his meditative practice. If he has strong and firm faith in the technique of meditation, he put forth strong effort in his practice. If he puts forth strong, strenuous effort in the practice, his mindfulness becomes continuous and constant and sustained. Then the mindfulness becomes powerful. When the mindfulness is powerful, it causes the mind to deeply concentrate on the object of meditation. Then he attains deep concentration of mind. When his concentration is deep enough, he is able to realize, rightly understand the true nature of mental and physical phenomena. When he has when he can rightly understand or realize the true nature of mental and physical phenomena. He is able to overcome all mental defilements which are the causes of suffering. Then he attains the cessation of suffering. Or he has got rid of all kinds of suffering. So, Saddha, strong and firm faith, is the cause. Virya, effort, is the effect. Virya, or the effort, strong, strenuous effort, is the cause. Continuous and constant mindfulness is the effect. Continuous and constant mindfulness is the effect, the cause. Deep concentration is the effect. Deep concentration is the cause. Penetrating insight is the effect. Penetrating insight is the cause, the realization of the true nature of mental and physical phenomena is effect. Realization of mental and physical phenomena is the cause. Abandonment of all mental defilement is the effect. Or total extermination of mental and physical phenomena is the effect. So, meditator must have these five essential qualities of saddha, faith, virya, strenuous effort, sati, continuous and constant mindfulness, samadhi, deep concentration, and panya, penetrating insight into phenomena. These five mental faculty, usually we translate into it. Five indriya is translated into five mental faculty. These are the five essential qualities of a meditator. All of these five qualities must be strong enough to attain the cessation of suffering, nibbana. That is why meditator needs to practice all mental and this mindfulness and meditation intensively, observing all mental faculties. Observing all mental states and physical processes, especially all daily activities, all actions and movements, and the whole day must be mindful of. If a meditator stress on walking meditation and sitting meditation. It's not enough. Daily activity is the most important part of the meditation. To be aware of it, to be mindful of. The Lord Buddha teaches this awareness of a daily activity as is Samvajanya Pava in Maha Satipatthana Sutta. It's called Samvajanya Papa. But to meditate as easily understand, it's translated into daily activity or general activities, such as sitting down, standing up from the seat, bending of the arms and legs, stretching of the arm and legs. Whatever actions or movement meditator do for the whole day is a daily activity or general activity which must be noted, which must be observed without failure, including the intention before them. Every action and movement is a preceded intention. Without intention, no movement or action is done. It's the only intention that causes to do any actions or movement. But if the actions and movements are done very fast, meditator cannot see the intention before that. Only he slow down all actions and movement. Only he do all actions and movement very slowly. Then he can know the intention before it. That's why meditator must practice to slow down his actions and movements during intensive meditation. If you can catch the intention, then he can observe the actions or movement that's caused by the intention. Then he would have continuous and consistent mindfulness for the whole day, which is the cause of a deep concentration. When the mind is deeply concentrated on any object, mental state or physical process, then the insight knowledge that arises together with the deep concentration becomes penetrating and sharp. Then it rightly understands the true nature of the object, either mental state or physical process. Then that insight knowledge is called panya, Vipassana Panya, Vipassana Jnana. So, meditator needs to have these 5 mental faculties of meditator firm and strong enough, or the essential qualities of a meditator must be strong and firm enough. When he has these 5 qualities are strong enough, then he is sure to realize, to rightly understand mental and physical phenomena which are observed. When he realizes the true nature of mental and physical phenomena, he realizes 2 aspects. One aspect is the aspect specific characteristic. The other aspect is the aspect general or common characteristic. Specific characteristic. Each mental state of physical unit has its own individual characteristic of a specific characteristic. When meditator's concentration is deep enough, he starts to realize this specific characteristic. After that, he is able to realize general or common characteristic of mental and physical phenomena. General or common characteristic is called Samanya Lakhana in Pali. Samanya Lakhana. Samanya is a general. Lakhana is a characteristic. Samanya Lakhana, general characteristic of mentality and physicality, Nama and Rupa. Every mental state, every physical phenomena, physical unit are not permanent. They arise and then pass away. Then another one arises and then pass away. In this way, every mentality and physicality is arising and passing away one after another. In this way, we had the process of ever-changing phenomena because it rises and passes away. So they are not permanent. They are impermanent. So this impermanence belongs to all mental and physical phenomena. So this impermanence is called Samanya Lakhana, general characteristic or common characteristic, because this impermanence is common to all mentality and physicality. So it is called common characteristic. When every mental state and physical process is impermanent, so they are suffering or unsatisfactoriness. They are suffering or unsatisfactoriness because they arises and passes away, ever changing. So they are suffering or unsatisfactoriness. In the scripture, it is said that every mental state and physical process are suffering or unsatisfactoriness because they are always oppressed by arising and passing away. By arising and passing away. So they are unsatisfactoriness. So it is a suffering. So this is suffering. The benefits of a suffering or unsatisfactoriness. Dukkha is also common to all mentality and physicality, nama and rupa. So it's also called a common characteristic or general characteristic. Then they are arising and passing away, so impermanent, never last long. So they are they are not everlasting entity, which is called Atta. Atta or Atma is a thing which is everlasting and a person. So mentality is impermanent, not last long. Physical phenomena is also impermanent, it does not long. So none of them, both of them are not everlasting entities, so they are neither Atta nor Atma. Based on the idea of everlasting mental and physical phenomena, the wrong view arises depending on this idea, the wrong view of a person, a being, itself or itself arises. None of mental states or physical process is everlasting, so they are neither a person nor a being, nor a self or nor a soul. Then what's there? They are the process of ever-changing phenomena of mentality and physicality. So these impermanence, suffering or unsatisfactoriness, and no soul, non-self, no person, no being, is common to all mentality and physicality. So they are called a common characteristic of a mental and physical phenomena, or general characteristic of mental and physical phenomena. But meditator realizes these three characteristics of mentality and physicality when his concentration is deep enough. Before he realizes the general characteristic, a common characteristic of mentality and physicality. He realizes a specific characteristic of mental and physical phenomena, or individual characteristic of mental and physical phenomena. Every mental state has its own individual characteristic, its own special characteristic. This body is composed of mainly the four primary material units, material elements. The four material elements which constitute so-called body are, first of Paඨavi, earth element; second, Abo, water element; third, Tejo, temperature or fire element. This Tejo is translated mostly into fire. But actually it's a temperature because it has the characteristic of heat and cold, not only heat. So it's the temperature. If it is translated into temperature, it will be better. But usually, traditionally, we translate Tejo into fire. Then the fourth one is Vayu Dhatu, air element or wind element. These are the four primary material elements which constitute this body, the phenomenon. Whenever we observe our body, we are aware of any of these four elements, earth or water or temperature or wind or air. But actually, if we use the word earth, it's not earth itself. We use the earth element for its specific characteristic. The earth element has its specific characteristic, hardness and softness. Hardness and softness are the specific characteristic of earth element, Paඨavi Dhatu. Then Abo Dhatu, water element, has fluidity and cohesion as its specific characteristic. Fluidity and cohesion are the specific characteristic of a water element. Then Tejo, temperature, heat and cold are the specific characteristic of Tejo Dhatu, fire element or temperature. Then Vayu. Vayu Dhatu has movements, motion, vibration, supporting as its specific characteristic. Movement, motion, vibration, supporting are the specific or the individual characteristic of Vayu, Dhatu, wind element. Because these four primary elements constitutes this body. Whenever we observe, we are aware of any of these hardness or softness, fluidity or motion, heat or cold, or movements or motion, vibration or supporting. When we realize, when we are observing any mental, any physical phenomena, such as movement, motion, the rising movement, falling movement, or sensation of heat or cold, or supporting nature, then we are aware of a specific characteristic of any of these four material elements. For example, while we are sitting, we observe the rising movement and falling movement of the abdomen. When the abdomen rises gradually, then we note it, we observe it as a rising. When the abdomen falls back, then we note it as a falling and observing. Falling movement. The abdominal movement. Abdomen is not Paramatha, absolute reality. The word abdomen is just a concept. But without concept, we are unable to be aware of reality, absolute reality. First of all, we come to perceive the concept. Then later on, when concentration becomes deeper and deeper, we come to experience or realize absolute reality, Paramatha. Here, the form of the abdomen is just a concept. But the movements of wire, the movements of the air inside, is absolute reality. When our concentration is not good enough, we perceive just abdomen, the form of the abdomen. When our concentration is deep enough gradually, then we are not aware of the form of the abdomen. What we realize is just movement. Sometimes we perceive, we experience one movement when we note arising. Then with the deeper concentration, the 2 movements, 3 movements, then when concentration is very deep, we perceive, we realize one movement after another, a series of movements, a series of rising movements, and a series of falling movements. These movements are absolute reality, not concept. They are wired specific characteristic of wind or air element. So they are absolute realities. When we are able to experience or realize a series of movements rising and passing away, one after another, we are not aware of the form of the domain. Without being conscious, we experience just a movement. When we know rising, we experience movements, one movement after another, rising and passing away. In the same way, when we note falling, we note rising and passing away of a series of movements. These are absolute reality. This is called the insight knowledge of Nama Rupa. Noun here, Nama Rupa, because this is a specific characteristic of Vayodhatu wind element is physical phenomena. So it's called Rupa. Then we come to realize a specific characteristic of physical phenomena, Vayodhatu wind element. In the same way, when in walking meditation, first of all, we note stepping, or left, right. Then we note, we observe lifting, pushing, dropping. Lifting, pushing, dropping. Sometimes we may observe lifting, dropping. Two aspects, two objects. It's not good because we skipped one part of the food. That is pushing, dropping, pushing movements. It's skipped. That's why better to observe three parts of a step. Lifting, pushing, dropping. When we lift the food is lifted gradually. Then we observe it lifting. Before we are able to note raising of the food, then when we lift, we not only lift him, but including raising too. But when our concentration is deep enough, then we come to differentiate between lifting and raising. Then we note lifting the heel, raising the toe. Then we push it forward, pushing. Then we put it down, putting down. Then the foot touches the floor, touching. Then we are about to lift the other foot. When the first foot is pressed, so pressing, lifting, raising, pushing, dropping, touching, pressing. When concentrations are better, we can not intention to, we perceive it. So, intention, lifting, raising, dropping, touching, pressing. But we must slow down our stepping. If we do not slow down stepping, we are unable to observe all of these 6 parts of a step. Maybe we know only 2 parts, lifting and dropping. Maybe we know lift and drop and touching, that's all. When our steps are fast, that's why meditator must slow down our stepping to realize or to be aware of each part of service a step very well. Lifting, raising, pushing, dropping, touching. Only then as a concentration gradually becomes deeper. If we note only say 3 parts, lifting, pushing, dropping, or lifting, the dropping, touching, it's a concentration cannot be good in a short time. It takes a long time to have a deep concentration. So meditator should try his best to be aware of all 6 parts of a step. Slowly lifting, raising, pushing, dropping, touching, pressing. If it's possible to know the intention before lifting, and note it. Intention, lifting, raising, pushing, dropping, touching, pressing. If he is able to know all of these 4 parts of a step, his concentration is deep enough. Then he comes to realize that these 4 parts are just movement. One movement, say lifting movement, raising movement, pushing movement, dropping movement, and touching sensation. He comes to see lifting movement, maybe say about 3 or 4 parts. Lifting, one movement, lifting, one movement, lifting, one movement. In this way, lifting, 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 raising, 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 and so on. Then, when he is able to observe, to know in this way, then he comes to realize that all movements of a step, when he is able to realize this movement, it means that he realizes specific characteristic of a wind or air element. Wind or air element. At that time he is not aware of the form of the food. He is unconscious of the food. What he experiencing is just movement. Lifting movement, raising movement, pushing movement, dropping movement. This is how a meditator with the deeper concentration realizes a specific characteristic of wind or air element. In this way, meditator realizes the other specific characteristics, and when he has clearly realizes all these specific characteristics, he comes to realize arising in person away of a phenomenon or the object, either mentality or physicality. If he realizes arising in pathway, he comes to experience the impermanent. This mentality is impermanent, this physical phenomenon is impermanent. Then he comes to realize general or common characteristic of mental and physical phenomena. In this way, meditator gradually realizing specific characteristic and general or common characteristic of mentality, physicality. Then he experiences one insight knowledge after another until he fully observed, he fully realized all 13 stages of insight knowledge. Then after that he attained enlightenment, path and fruition knowledge, Subramani knowledge, path and fruition knowledge. But meditator, to realize all of these insight, knowledges, and enlightenment, the 5 essential qualities must be strong and firm enough. That are strong and firm, Viriya strong and firm, Sati strong and firm, Samadhi strong and firm, Panya insight knowledge and path and fruition knowledge strong and firm. To make them firm, meditator needs to observe all mental states and physical processes for the whole day, so that his mindfulness continuous and constant and sustained. Then what he needs is the basic one, saddha, faith, and the technique of meditation, and 3 jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So may all of you have the basic requirement is a strong and firm faith and your technique of meditation, and strive your best and attain the cessation of suffering, Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sabbe satta, sabbe vana, sabbe buddha, sabbe puggala, sabbe attabhava priyamana, sabba itiyo, sabbe purisa, sabbe ariya, sabbe ariya, sabbe deva, sabbe manusa, sabbe vinipatika, avera hontu, adhyakacha hontu, aniga hontu, sukhiyatanam pariharantu, Sabbe Satta, Sabbe Panna, Sabbe Buddha, Sabbe Buddhala, Sabbe Adabhava Priyapana, Sabba Itiyo, Sabbe Purisa, Sabbe Ariya, Sabbe Anariya, Sabbe Deva, Sabbe Manusa, Sabbe Vipassana, Avera Hontu, Avyavaja Hontu, Anika Hontu, Sukhiratana, Ariharantu. Sabbe Satta, Sabbe Panna, Sabbe Buddha, Sabbe Buddhala, Sabbe Adabhava Priyapana, Sabba Itiyo, Sabbe Purisa, Sabbe Ariya, Sabbe Anariya, Sabbe Deva, Sabbe Manusa, Sabbe Vinipatika, Avera Hontu, Avyavaja Hontu, Anika Hontu, Sukhiratana, Ariharantu.